we're going to be talking about size, weight, tone, and cost of this paper, and I'm also going to be giving you an example of how this paper handles graphite pencil. That's the medium that I use, and if you use graphite pencil, you're going to want to know what this paper can do for you. So let's get started. So, size. It's a big mofo. So the size that I bought is A1, and it's huge. Like it's it's huge. It's slightly overwhelming because I was saying to you I'm going to use it for my illustrations, right? And I'm slightly overwhelmed. But so this comes in size A5, A4, A3, A2, and A1. There's 30 sheets in the A1, and I assume that there's 30 sheets in all of the pads, but I would say when you go online, just make sure, don't take my word for it. It is at size 1, which is their largest size. At size 1, it's 840 millimeters by 594 millimeters. It's a big mofo. And I just noticed as I was unwrapping this paper that it's FSC approved, which means that the paper was made using paper from forests that are sustainably and responsibly harvested. So that's a good thing. Well done, Dayla and Rowney, for that. Wait. So this is a lot lighter compared to this paper right here, which is the heavyweight version that I reviewed in this video. And if you want to watch that video, just click the cards and you can see the differences between the two papers. So on here you can see on every Dayla and Rowney sketchpad they have illustrations, so you can see exactly what you can use this paper for. I didn't mention this paper is actually acid free, which is pretty cool. So on here you can see pencil, ink, fine line, as in a fine line or a pilot pen, and you can see there is absolutely no brushes. It doesn't say anything about light washes, but what I found in my experience is even at 130 grams, I do find if you do a light watercolor wash or a very light acrylic wash or a super light gouache, you should be able to use this paper as long as you can somehow make sure that the paper dries flat. You can kind of hack it and use it, but the only reason why it doesn't have it on here is because of the buckling, because if the paper becomes too saturated with water, it will buckle and fold over itself. But I have used paper at this weight doing a light wash, and as long as I've kind of kept the paper straight while I've dried it, it's been okay. But that's really down to experimenting. It's best to experiment and see for yourself, but definitely use what they say as a guideline. I just know that in my experience you can hack it. Okay, so I have my receipt here. I bought this from Cass Art, which is where I buy 95% of my supplies online. And at the time of purchasing this, which tells me I purchased this on the 31st of March, I bought this for $29.95, which includes VAT. So that's not bad. At the time of it, I'm going to check online on Cass Art to see how much this paper is right now so that you get an up-to-date idea of the cost. It's exactly the same. On Cass Art, it hasn't gone up or down in price. I hope you can see that. It's pretty good. And it starts off, A4 starts off at $4.95, and A3 is £7.50, A2 is $16.95, and A1 is $26.95. So still the same. I thought it might have gone down. Okay. Grain. Grain. We're gonna find this out together, because at the top of the video you saw me unwrapping this, so I don't know yet. So we're gonna find this out together, which will be either very good, very exciting for me that I bought the right paper, or I'm gonna throw a tantrum because it's not what I needed to do. So let's find out. This paper is like, I've got to hold the camera while I do this, so excuse the shakes. This paper, hold on, see if I can get, is, it's smooth. It's smooth. Like, I can hardly feel any grain. I'm gonna get really close to see if you can see anything. And I don't think my camera's picking up anything. But let's get the pencils out. So I'm using the Progresso woodless graphite pencils. These are amazing, amazing pencils. So HB. This is a 4B. Okay, you can just pick up the grain with the 4B, and it's like, it's nice though, you know, it's a nice finish on this paper. I like it. I like it, and I'm looking forward to using it. And I was a little worried that it was going to be a little too smooth, but I'm liking that separation between the paper, how the pencil just sits in between the grain like that. And the paper at 130, it's still a good weight, you know. It's still a good weight. I like it. I am pleasantly I am pleasantly surprised and happy, and I think I made the best like I told you. I haven't used this paper before, and it was a guessing game for me online. So far I'm really happy. I'm looking forward to doing my illustrations on this. But let's do the tone test. Okay, I've got some plain old printer paper here, and let's do the white test. How white is this paper? Alright, you can see that's a jump. Let's move this light over a little bit. That is a jump, but in comparison to the heavyweight, it's not as far. So there is a definite difference between the brightness of the smooth and the heavyweight. Again, if you want to watch that video, I'll put a link up in the cards, and I'll also put a link to that video in the description box below. And I think you're going to be quite surprised at optically how different this paper is. But for me, I can work with this. That's how bright it is, and I'm pleased with that. Actually, let me turn off the light and see whether or not it makes a difference to the paper, because you know sometimes this light has a lot of yellow in it and it can make a difference. So let me turn off the light. Hold on. That's still pretty good. I'm still happy with that. Yeah, definitely in comparison to the heavyweight version, this is a lot lighter. And what I may do in the future is do a comparison test between these two papers. Actually, let me do it now. Let me see if I can find my heavyweight pad and just show you the difference between the two. Okay, I wanted to do a fair test. So I've just swapped out my light bulb. I'm now using a 25 watt daylight bulb. These are the bulbs that I use for my product photography, and it emulates daylight. So this is going to be a true test because I wanted to really show the difference in these papers. I think there's a difference, but you tell me what you think. Okay, so this is the heavyweight smooth, which is the paper that I reviewed in the last video. This is the heavyweight. This is the Daler and Rowney smooth. This is the lighter version. Okay, this is printer paper. Let's do a comparison between all three. And let me get the light positioned here. Okay, now I don't know about you, but I see a difference, right? One is, I haven't got a lot of room here to show you. My studio is super small, but I see a difference. To me, there is a difference in this tone. This, hold on, let's, whoop, wait till my camera decides to sharpen up. There we go. This definitely has a grayer tone than this one. This, the smooth lightweight, is definitely brighter. And in comparison with the printer paper, you can see that comes closer than this does. Now I've got a fresh piece of paper from my heavyweight, just to make a comparison, because you know sometimes you have a piece of paper, it gets old, and sometimes you get pencil smudgings in it. So this is a fresh piece of heavyweight paper, and again, it's exactly the same. I'm just going to hold this shot so you can see properly. That's different. And you know what irritates me? What irritates me about things like this is, as an artist or a designer who, like, you're only as good as your tools, right? And we need as much information as possible before we invest our big time monies into buying these expensive fine art papers. And what irritates me is this kind of information, the actual manufacturer or the distributors do not put this information in their description. It's just not here. It doesn't say on the description. You might find a slight difference between the tone of each paper, and that's what really irritates me. This is the same company, right? This is the lightweight, smoother version of this, okay? And there is a definite difference between the tones of the paper. So what I don't understand is, why isn't that put in the description books? Why isn't they putting this in their product descriptions? Like I said, I've done a review of this paper. I've put it up in the cards for you to see. But now you can see, now when you buy this cartridge paper, there is going to be a difference between between just the weights of the paper, which I find super annoying. But you know, this is why I decided to do this video in the first place, because I needed to know how white this paper was going to be. So, you know, fortunately it's white enough for me to be able to use it, and I'm sure in Photoshop I can at least lift the levels to make it even brighter for my needs. But I hope that this little comparison test is going to help you out. And if you've had this problem with paper before, trying to figure out how white it is, go ahead, leave that in the comments too. I would really like to know what your experience has been trying to buy white paper. But it's annoying, isn't it? Anyway, I'm really pissed.